Government of Brunei has portrayed its country as nearly perfect for decades, and it's been ran by the same family for more than 60 years. The government has formed the Penal Code, which is a set of laws with extremely harsh punishments and laws that take away human rights. The government argues that these laws are the exact reason why their country is very successful, like having the highest GDP per capita in the world. Well, what the government does not acknowledge is the struggles of their citizens because of the Penal Code. The mental health in Brunei since the Penal Code has gotten extremely worse in the last decade. However, the Penal Code does not allow free press, so nobody knows about this issue besides the citizens. There's a drastic increase in mental health issues, but the way that Brunei treats them is not acceptable because they put them straight into psych wards. To the rest of the world, Brunei looks like a great country with a successful economy, but citizens inside are receiving death penalties when just trying to get their human rights back. The Bruneian government's penal code and its revisions needs to be terminated immediately because it takes citizens' basic human rights away and it leaves them helpless. These laws have caused dangerous mental health problems amongst the citizens, but Brunei completely disregards them. The penal code does not allow citizens to speak about the laws or anything about the government without a brutal punishment. So doctors outside of the country have to interview citizens inside of the country completely anonymously just to get information. Citizens who did agree to an interview demanded that their name were to be left out. According to Macro Trends LLC, in 2016, the suicide rate increased by 36% from the previous year, and then the following year, it increased again by another 27%. Dr. Ho, who is a mental health doctor that is not a citizen of Brunei, assessed the mental health situation in Brunei and concluded that citizens all felt uncomfortable following the government's treatment plan that was implemented by the Penal Code. Instead of Brunei giving patients proper treatment, they put them straight into psych wards. The laws of the Penal Code do not allow information like this to get out, but these mental health issues are clearly correlated with the Penal Code and its provisions. Brunei's government does not accept mental health problems as normal, so they treat these patients like they are psycho. However, in Brunei, it is normal to not accept those with mental health issues, but it is a serious problem when hundreds of people are taking their own life. In 2018, after the increased suicide rates, Brunei proposed a new mental health order. The government argued that this solves all of their mental health problems by now giving patients the proper treatment compared to the old one. Dr. Ho stated that implementing this new order would be a huge challenge because the citizens felt dehumanized from the previous mental health system. Even though it seems their economy is thriving, there are many underlying issues like their mental health uproar. Brunei's disregard of the mental health problems has led citizens to an increased suicide rate and now an even harsher and revised penal code. The Penal Code's laws contain harsh punishments that go against basic human rights, which needs to be terminated. The punishments for breaking laws can include death by the government. The laws include speaking about the government, free rights of expression, sexuality, and religion. The government believes that these strict laws are the reasoning of their country's success and why it's well regulated. However, they refuse to address the effects of implementing the Penal Code. The Penal Code takes away basic human rights from the citizens, and they cannot speak about this issue without even being killed. The Human Rights Watch is a non-profit organization that tries to bring awareness to countries that are currently taking away their citizens' rights. They examined the Penal Code and they came to the conclusion that nearly all of its provisions are a direct violation of the United Nations Committee's Rule of Human Rights. Brunei continues to take advantage and control of their citizens' rights and does not allow them to live freely or independently. In Brunei, the citizens are being completely controlled by the government and they're trapped because of this Penal Code. The Penal Code needs to be terminated if Brunei wants to keep its citizens safe from suicide or other mental health problems. Citizens are under complete control of the government, leading to increased suicide rates, mental health issues, and even death penalties. Citizens are being dehumanized and they're treated like dolls, which is causing more of them to commit suicide and none of them to trust the government at all. From the outside, Brunei looks like a perfect country with a great economy, but on the inside, citizens are struggling every day to live a life with basic human rights. On a larger scale, somebody with more power in the United Nations has to intervene and help terminate the Penal Code. The longer that they do not receive help, the more danger their country will be in. Citizens have no way to reach out for help without receiving a very terrible punishment. So this is up to another country to help. Brunei has to terminate the Penal Code and focus on the health of their citizens and the trust between them, since they have mistreated them for way too long.